Just kidding. Gotcha. On this episode of System Integrators Weekly, we're taking a look at community favorite Alexander PCs because they've made a ton of changes to their entire lineup. All that and more on this episode of SI Weekly.
Let's go, nerds!
Hello everyone, I'm Brea Thorne. Welcome to System Integrators Weekly. We're talking about Alexander PCs, and you've heard their name before on here plenty of times, and there's a good reason for that. And the reason is, well, it's pretty apparent once you go to the SI testimonials in our Discord and you take a look through the different system integrators. Of course, there's going to be some that have some positive, some negative, things like that. It's almost pretty much all positive for Alexander PCs. I mean, the way that they treat their buyers after the purchase is amazing, because when they say they're going to give you a lifetime warranty, they really mean it. So what you have with Alexander PCs, you have a boutique builder, right? A boutique builder, but they also cater to budget buyers as well, mid-range, and then your high end. So you actually have quite a few options. And they've become incredibly competitive over the last year and a half, couple of years. They've really just sort of been pushing the competitive budget systems to get quality builds with a lifetime warranty into the hands of budget buyers, mid-range buyers, and high-end buyers. A quick message though, the coupon code that they provided to our community has changed. They do have to change it once the code starts going to like random coupon websites. They really want the coupon to be for my viewers and my community, our community. So we change it once it gets onto the random coupon websites. I'm cool with that. So the new code, the code has gone from OCB. It was OCB, right? It is now BRAE, B-R-A-E, BRAE. And also Brea Thorne here, letting you know that this video is sponsored by VIP CDK Deals.
The best place to go when you want to get yourself an OEM Windows license to get rid of that annoying watermark and unlock all the customization Windows has to offer. So instead of paying well over $100 for a retail version of Windows, you can get an OEM key for a fraction of the price. Plus, you can use my code BRAE25 to get a nice fat discount off of the already discounted price. Keep in mind that this is an OEM key that gets attached to this system and cannot be used with another one or if you change your hardware. Make sure you get the right key for your operating system. For more information on how to use CDK Deals, click the link in the description saying here's how it works, and I'll walk you through the whole thing. Thank you, CDK Deals, for continuing to support the channel.
Now, first thing real quick, disclaimers. This video is being filmed for September 18th, 2023. All the pricing and availability that you see here is subject to change, particularly if you're watching this weeks or months after it's been published. When you're looking at pricing, that is timely information, so make sure you're getting up-to-date info. And at the end of this video, you'll see the thing pop up for one of my latest videos. Be sure to check that out. The second disclaimer is that you're going to hear some opinions. Opinions are good and healthy and normal, and we all have them. And I have videos on the YouTubes, so I get to share mine. If you disagree with those, also perfectly healthy and natural and normal to do that. So you can do that in the comments below in the Discord. And yes, final thing is, none of this is financial advice. I'm not telling you what to buy. And a lot of you guys want me to do that. Just to tell me what to buy. Tell me what's good. You will be much better off if I provide you with information so that you can make an informed decision and own that decision. You can decide whether you agree with me or not. Once you've watched a few videos, you could be like, this guy's full of hot air. Or you can decide that you agree with me and what I say generally sounds true to you. I do deal a lot in facts. I will look at the screen, tell you what's on the screen, and reflect on that. But then I'll tell you how I feel about it. But that is mostly based in a lot of experience, if that helps. Okay, so Alexander PCs, build your dream machine. Now, it's funny that they say that because Alexander PCs does not really have a configurator. They don't do that. They might want to put "we build your dream machine" there because they pretty much decide what goes in there. When I first saw Alexander PCs, the first time I covered them, I was like, wait a minute. They just say what's going to go in there and you get no say in the matter. That kind of sucks. And then I looked through it and I was like, okay, this is all the stuff I would have chosen. So they're actually really good at speccing out PCs. Now, when you're talking about their products, they have a specific lineup, okay? That lineup is the Auxilia, the Hoplite, the Peltast, the Legionnaire, the Centurion, the Spartan, the Archon, the Strategos, the Gladiator, the Praetorian, the Assassin, and the Legatus. So, and in each of those, you generally have a choice between black or white, or in one instance here, pink on the Peltast, which looks super freaking rad, by the way. But yeah, the prices range from $918. By the way, the coupon code BRAE does take $50 off any system you get. Okay, so that makes the Auxilia less than $900. So it starts at, if you use coupon code BRAE, less than $900, all the way up to a whopping $5,598 for the top of the line stuff with your 13900 KSs and your 4090s and your all, Lian Leaf fans and strimmer cables and screens in there, and just really pulling out all the stops. Now, as I'm going through these, I'm going to go over some of the updates that have happened that TJ, the owner of Alexander PCs, has let me know. He sort of was like, and I love when this happens, because I've had this from certain SIs, usually smaller ones, where they're like, hey, here is specifically what's going on so you can inform your audience. Awesome. That's great. That's really good. And here's the thing, system integrators, any of you can do this. Any of you guys, at any point, you have my email. You can just literally give me information and I will pass that along to consumers. Will I give my opinions on that info and what decisions you make? Of course I'm gonna. That's the fun of this, right? You're basically getting free feedback. Like no consultation fee necessary because it benefits consumers. So first off, we're looking here at the Auxilia. Now, I dragged my feet here on and got caught up in other stuff that I was doing on getting the B-roll done and the montage done and then the edit done for this. But we did unbox and test one. Mine happened to have some issues with the Windows installation that was in there, the kind of thing that will get fixed by Alexander PCs, but that's the kind of thing that can happen with any PC from any system integrator. So, but if you want to see actually what happened there, you can check out the stream. It is going to be right there. There's a link. Maybe open that in a new tab. Now, here's the thing about the Auxilia, right? Like this is the one that I got. I got it in white with the Intel processor, okay, with the Intel 12100F, and it comes with the Radeon RX 6600 GPU. These are the best price to performance gaming components you can get right now. Still, just fantastic. And what they do is they take that and they put it into a quality build. You're not taking that 12100F's stock cooler. No, you're getting a full-on tower cooler. Way overkill for this CPU, but it's also not, because it is a gaming CPU, and while you're gaming, the GPU will kick out a little more heat, stuff like that. It's nice to have, because the cooler your components stay, the better the longevity you're going to have, which is of interest to Alexander PCs, seeing as they have a lifetime warranty that they fully intend to back up. This is a case that is designed for an MATX motherboard, so of course they used one. You're not seeing Alexander PCs doing the thing where you get a full ATX case and an MATX motherboard. I hate that. Dual channel memory and fast memory at that, with the 16 gigs of Kingston Fury Beast Special Edition RGB DDR4 3600. And you can upgrade that. This is the thing. This is something that happened after I started chatting with TJ at Alexander PCs. I was like, look, there's some easy things that you could just give some options on. And it like RAM storage, maybe even GPU, CPU, things like that, where it's just like everything works as normal. You just have more. You can choose to go with 32 gigs of RAM and a 2 terabyte Kingston NV2 M.2 drive. Okay. And with coupon code BRAE, you're still under $1,000 in a budget gaming PC with fast DDR4, 32 gigs, and 2 terabytes of storage right off the bat. That's a hell of a deal right there for under $1,000. Okay, so the Hoplite is going to be very similar. The Hoplite instead chooses to go with, see, this one's cool because you have the option to go with an Intel Arc A750 or a 6650 XT, an RTX 4060 Dual OC, or a 4060 Twin Edge OC in white. Now, those upgrades, it automatically comes with the A750, which, guys, I tested a system with an A770, and it's an absolutely awesome GPU, and the A750 is right there with the 6600, the RX 6600, for being amazing price to performance. But you can basically go through here, click through these, and see what your price increases will be depending on the GPU that you choose. Clearly, a 4060, especially a white one, is going to cost more than an Intel Arc A750. You can also go again with 16 or 32 gigs of RAM. Now, Brayathorn, you might say, or you can call me Bray. That's okay. But most people do. What do I need? Do I need 16 gigs of RAM or do I need 32? Great question, and I'm glad you asked. Most people playing most games are just going to need 16 gigs of RAM, particularly if you're playing something like esports titles. If you're getting a budget system, you might just be looking to play some, Fortnite, League of Legends, whatever. If you're going to be playing any AAA titles, you might want to go 32 gigs. Where you really need to watch out are certain titles that are just RAM hungry, like Escape from Tarkov, heavily modded games. And if you're going to be playing Starfield, you're probably going to be modding it, and that just takes up more and more memory generally as things go. Modded Minecraft, games like that. It's only a price difference of $50 to double your RAM. And this one, the AMD version, is a 5600X, and any of these three GPU platforms here, the Arc A750, RX 6650 XT, or RTX 4060. Then you have the Hoplite Intel version. Now, the Hoplite changed quite a bit from when I reviewed it. The Hoplite before did not come in the Fractal Pop Air Mini, I think that's what this is. And in the Intel version, you're going to be getting an Intel Core i5-13400, and that's a rad GPU. Okay, you're getting 10 cores in this thing. Definitely good value there, and matching this up with any of those three GPUs is going to be a great performer. And on the Intel version, it's very similar, where you're getting the same options for RAM and storage. And one thing to keep in mind is in this case here, in the two systems I've shown, they're both micro ATX motherboards, meaning you're going to have fewer M.2 sockets for adding storage. So I would say getting this at least is really nice to do. Now, moving on from the Hoplite, you get to the Peltast, which is one of the newer systems for them. And yes, it does come in pink. And I haven't really had the full opportunity to cover this thing, but it's absolutely awesome. I mean, listen, there comes a time in everyone's life when they just have to admit that the color pink is kind of super rad. Like, it's not supposed to exist on the visible spectrum. Look at the rainbow. Where in there is pink? Right? That there is no Roy G. Biv P. Okay? It just manifests. And it's like bright. I think what happens as I'm getting older and the vision goes, brighter colors appeal to me more. It's fine. There's like it looks like a metallic or a pearlescent on the case color, the paint. It looks sick. And then this like RGB accent right here, and then the matching cooler with the Vetru V5. I think this fan right here should be matching this fan right here, in my opinion. And I know that they sell these fans separately because I used them in Ari's build. Anyway, you're talking about a $1,578 system here, right? So what do you get for that? So here we are, we're at a 4060 Ti. No changes on this, that's what it's gonna get. You basically get to choose which one you want. And here's the good news though. When talking over with TJ, I was like, oh, obvious. What's the obvious question? What is it? What about, RX 7700 XT? Where are the mid-range AMD GPUs? But the good news is that Alexander PCs is going to be bringing Sapphire into the fold. Am I supposed to say that? Am I allowed to say what the brand name is going to be? Because Sapphire they're one of the few AMD Radeon only GPU manufacturers, right? So there's not that many to choose from, but Sapphire makes really good ones. So plus they make a super nice white version as well that just came out. So like they're a great choice, and those should be coming in sometime in October. I don't remember what he said. So yeah, those versions are going to be coming. If you're in the mid-range and you want the Alexander PC's service, the warranty, the build quality, all of that, but you want to get your hands on a 7700 XT or 7800 XT, just be a little bit patient. They'll bring them in as soon as they finish working all that out and getting some inventory in, testing it. They're going to send these out if they don't test right. If they have bad test results, they're just going to be like, hey, look, I don't care if the 4060 Ti has lower frame rates. It's more stable. That's what we recommend. So yeah, what you get, what about the rest? What do you get with this? You get the Intel Core i5 13500, 14 cores, 20 threads. So this is like the 13400, except instead of 6 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores, you get 6 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores, much like the 13600K. There's no option here for going between 16 or 32 gigs of RAM. Now, why is that? Oh, that's probably because it already has 32 gigs of RAM, DDR5 5600 to be exact. So yeah, that's another reason this thing is at the $1,578 range right there, is because this is a DDR5 Intel system. It's optional to go with DDR4, but in this case, I don't use the FP word here. I'm not going to say it's future-proofed, but for the purposes of upgrading in the future, you're going to have more options if you have a DDR5 system. Now, and you look at the motherboard, Asus TUF Gaming B760 plus Wi-Fi motherboard, plenty of power delivery for it, plenty of I/O, 2.5 gig Ethernet, Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth. This has got everything you need, Thunderbolt. If you're trying to do have a streaming and gaming system all in one, this frankly is not enough I/O for that. It's just not. This is barely enough for this is enough for your gaming PC. Because you look here and you've got mouse, keyboard, maybe it's a USB headset or audio interface, right? Maybe you get yourself a Stream Deck, maybe a USB microphone instead. Or it's a headset, maybe. You're out, you're running out. That's it. You know, if you're trying to build up a stream, I need double this basic, but then again, I don't do really basic streams. I'll be doing quite a bit tech-wise in my streams, but that's me. This is not enough I/O for that. For a gaming PC, it's fine. It's totally fine. That's one thing about about what TJ does. He doesn't just throw this thing up there and say, here, buy it. No, you get an entire basically blog of why they chose the parts that they chose. And that's awesome. So next we're going to be looking at the Legionnaire. Legionnaire is going to be between the Peltast and the Centurion. So quick look at that. So this is the new Intel version, and you're going to be getting the AMD version later this month. So this thing comes in at $1,788. Now, what do you get for that? Well, you have the option between the 4060 Ti or upping it to the 4070. And you can choose between the Thermalright Peerless Assassin Tower Cooler that you've seen in a lot of these other ones, or the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 240 AIO. So you have the colorways, just black, black with cyan, or black with magenta. And of course that looks like this, right there. Or you can get it in white. Now, whichever GPU you choose here, that's going to be paired with an Intel Core i5 13600K, an absolute monster of a gaming CPU that can do more. And that means that when they choose a motherboard, it's going to be a Z790. So you have that Z-class motherboard from Intel, that Z-class chipset, meaning it can actually utilize that. So the good thing is the Z791 is a little bit better on I/O. So you're going to have, instead of 5 USB Type A's with one of them being old USB 2.0, you're getting 4 USB 3.0, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gig, and then you have 2 Type-C ports, one of them being 10 gigabit per second, one being 20 gigabit per second. With 2.5 gig Ethernet, Wi-Fi 6E. See, that's what I was wondering about the Wi-Fi 6E on the on the previous, I guess the B660M version, because it doesn't have the E listed on the back. Are we sure that that one is Wi-Fi 6E? Because it says in the description, you're going to want to check that. So you're still going with 32 gigs of Kingston Fury Beast RGB DDR5 5600. Then your SSD gets upgraded to a KC3000. You're going from the Kingston NV2 to the KC3000 is a big upgrade in performance. And here you're getting 750 watt power supply with that 4060 Ti or 4070. Now a quick note, if there's any changes that you do really want to make to these systems, you can email TJ and be like, hey, I'd like to make a little change to that system. I'm willing to pay the difference. So if you want a 2 terabyte Kingston KC3000, you can probably just say so. There you go. What's he gonna do? Say no? Probably not. TJ's super nice. He'll probably just talk your ear off. There is a major change aside from just system configs going on over at Alexander PCs. They're moving. They're getting a new facility that is double the size of their current one. The reason they want to do that is because they want to shorten the amount of time it takes between you ordering your system and you getting your system. And I'm not talking about ready to ship systems. I'm talking about pre-configured models. That's kind of a big deal. And it costs a lot of money to do that. I wish them the best of luck because moving sucks. But he wants his team to have more space. He wants to have more space for staging, ready to ship systems, which we're going to look at because they've got a bunch. For streaming builds, things like that, it's going to be a big change for them. Now, for those of you who are going to come in and say, oh, you can build it for yourself for less. Duh. Everybody knows that. Like literally everyone knows that. People who buy pre-builts are like, I don't want to. I'll pay extra. And I'm okay with that. You should be too. However, Alexander PCs also knows it. They give you a PC part picker list. With the prices, they're kind of locked in at what the prices were when they sort of configured all this. And that's, prices change in the market. So what you would want to do is sort of take that as a sort of a blueprint and check it with current pricing. But it doesn't show extras, as it says right there. Extras not shown, which is like the cable extensions, custom cable extensions, lifetime warranty, all that stuff. So, take it as you will. At least it's something that they provide to you. And heck, if you're like, I like the way this looks, I want to build it myself. You can pretty much just take that list, order everything, and you can then build it yourself. There you go. Now, here is the Centurion. I did review one of these. It's an awesome PC. It was an absolute performer. So what they're going to be doing is, and I believe this is the new picture here. This is the Galahad 2 Trinity SL Infinity. Man, that just rhymes all over the place. The reason it's the Galahad Trinity is because you actually get 3 different pump caps for it. I have it here so I can show you. This is the Galahad Trinity AIO, and you get these 3 pump caps right here. Rad AIO, it's updated for them and everything. So, but this is still in one of my favorite cases of all time. And that is a Landcool 215 with these 200 millimeter RGB fans. Like, yeah, the 216 has some nice creature comforts to it. And I think that this thing should change over to it because then you get USB-C front panel connectivity, but you lose the 200 millimeter fans. It's really unfortunate, but still awesome. So this one has a lot of flexibility in how you're going to configure it. So you can go all basics, and here's what you would get: 4060 Ti, and when I got it, it was the 3060 Ti at the time. Arctic Freezer 34 Esports Duo White Tower Cooler, and a 1 terabyte M.2 drive. You can upgrade this all the way to a 4070 Ti, the Galahad 2 Trinity SL Infinity Edition White, that's for the white build, and a 2 terabyte drive. That makes this thing $2,500. That's kind of a lot. It is. And it's a 13600K in this one. I mean, you're looking at a very capable machine for 1440p gaming. What I'd like to see what this thing could do with like a 7800 XT or 7900 XT, with pricing dropping as it is on that one. But looking at some of the other specs here, you're looking at still a 750 watt, 80 plus gold rated, fully modular, but now you're starting to get names: Asus, EVGA, Corsair, or Seasonic only. Sleeve cable extensions and client color choice from available library, which is a very wide library, by the way, but you don't need that. You just choose purple and you're good. And the memory has been upgraded from the 5600 to Kingston Fury Renegade RGB DDR5 6000. Remember, you could have a cheaper machine if you go with DDR4. The motherboard's cheaper, the RAM is cheaper. But that's not what they're doing. And that's one of the reasons it costs more, because the parts cost more. So Centurion is it's basically that mid-range system, smack dab in the middle. If you're at around $2,000, over or under a little bit, it's gonna one of the broadest sort of ranging systems there, and it's gonna do what you need. So now we're getting into the higher end systems though. Okay, you're looking at the Spartan after that. And the Spartan is listed here saying it's going to be available in white later this month. The AMD version as well is coming later this month. And as I found out, that also means the GPUs. These are also going to have the updated AIOs from Corsair later this month. Okay, it's not up there yet. This one can go between a 13600K and 13700K. And you can go from a 4070 up to a 4070 Ti. For one thing, you can just go with the Capellix type cooler or the Elite LCD. That's going to add to price as well, but those are both pretty pricey AIOs. Looking at the motherboard here, it's again the Asus TUF Gaming Z790 plus Wi-Fi. Okay, same as the previous one. It does have better I/O, more power delivery than the M-ATX one. But guys, it says here, okay, TJ, just to let you know, like, these are great. These description things are awesome. But that's not right. That's Wi-Fi 6E, and it just completely made me lose my mind for the last like 3 minutes. So now we're starting to get, and now we're really in the high end. Okay, we're at the Gladiator, which is where you're at $3,000. So here's where you can start going up to a 4080. And I would say at $3,098, you should be, but it's actually $3,548 because NVIDIA is insane with their pricing on the 4080. And this needs to have the option for the 7900 XTX and the 7900 XT. I'm just saying, but you can go up to a 13900K, 1 or 2 terabyte Kingston KC3000. And this one is when the motherboard gets pricey, because this motherboard here is going to be the Asus ROG Strix Z790H gaming Wi-Fi. Look at that IO right there. You're talking about streaming, stream all day with this. 2.5 gig Ethernet, Wi-Fi 6E, dual USB Type-C on this one. And you got your 10, count them, 10 USB Type-A ports. Bam. And there you go. Now there's going to be the Praetorian is one that I mentioned that is going to be launching in October. That is going to replace the Gladiator Evo, and it's going to be launching in October in the height Y60. So the Gladiator Evo has been removed. It is a little bit more than this one because the Evo costs more than the O11 Dynamic case-wise. But yeah, that's going to be in the height Y60 in October. Let's talk about the Assassin, because as we've been seeing a lot of RGB here, what happens when we get rid of most of that? All right. So you have two options, the Intel white version or Intel black version here. And the Assassin is where things get really spicy because you have a $4,178 starting point. Okay. Starting with a 4080 can go up to the 4090. And you're starting with an Noctua NHD 15 in Chromax black or Chromax white with the heatsink covers. Or the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 360 with white AIO sleeving to make it match. I would actually say, because this is in the Fractal Torrent, stick with the NHD 15. That is a very potent combination with the massive fans that come with this that push a ton of air. It's a wind tunnel, basically. This thing is an awesome system. And it's a 13900K by default. All right. And now this is an Asus ROG Strix Z790A gaming Wi-Fi. And 64 gigs of white DDR5 6000. Good Lord. Plus they have the 12 VHP to wear adapter for it. And yeah, you basically just choose these two things. Okay. Yeah, I would say don't even worry about the 360 AIO, because you basically lose out on your awesome 180 millimeter fans that come with this that really kind of make the Fractal Torrent what it is. Instead, just stick with the NHD 15. If you're looking for something that is going to absolutely perform, you don't care about RGB and you don't care about some fan noise, because if once this thing really gets going, it will generate some noise. I'll tell you that. There it is. You get it in black or in white. That's all you got to figure out. Now let's back up here, and we're going to look at the big one. This is the one that's like all of the bells and all of the whistles. The Legatus. Now this is shown with the Asus RG Ryujin 3 360 millimeter AIO. All right, that does up the price by like $50, just to let you know. And you can also get the Corsair H150i Elite XT LCD. Basically, every one of these is going to have a screen on the AIO. Every one of these is going to have a 4090. You just get to choose which one you want out of those two. And every one of these is going to have high-end RGB fans. That one, the Legatus, is getting a 13900KS and will be updated later this month. So currently it's listed with but yeah, this hasn't been updated yet. It's going to get a 13900KS. So like the absolute top desktop CPU that Intel sells. 64 gigs DDR5 6000, of course. 2 terabytes Kingston Fury Renegade, of course. I mean, at this price, it could be 2 of those, honestly. And now this also comes with a 7-inch Windows native LCD screen mod, as you can see here. So that's what that looks like. I mean, there's not any part of the system that wasn't touched here. I mean, everything is paid attention to on this. By the way, TJ, don't know if you know, but Lian Li did make streamer cables for 12V PWR. They did indeed. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of budget reviews for Alexander P. Mostly budget reviews. The Hoplite, then the Centurion is like mid-range, and then I did the Auxilia, which I need to get the rest of that review out. I think once the move is done and all the dust has settled on that, all these updates are done, I think it's time for us to show why a system like this would cost like $5,000 to $6,000. That's probably going to be the next move, I think, but up to you. It is, again, always weird when I cover just a single SI in one video. However, make note of this. They have a system for pretty much every budget. Budget PCs are getting closer and closer to $1,000. So having one under $1,000 at a boutique builder that does not cut every single corner just to get a system on the site at that price, that actually has quality to it. That's what Alexander PC is all about. That's sort of the entire lineup. And I want to thank Cuddles in advance for cleaning up all of this rambling I've done into something concise. Thank you for that, Cuddles. Everyone, say thank you to Cuddles. Thank you. Appreciate that, buddy. But let me know what you guys think. If you're sitting there being like, oh, there's no way these guys can be as good as he says the people say they are or whatever, do yourself a favor and go to the Discord. The linkle is in the dinkle. The link is in the description. Go check it out. Look at the SI testimonials. Click on Alexander PCs and see what real customers have to say about their experience there. See how much they liked it. See if and the most important ones are the ones where there was an issue and they got it fixed. Because no matter what a PC costs, it's still a computer. And I highly encourage you to get subscribed and also follow my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Brayathorn. Before you know it, I'm going to be streaming there again, and I'll be helping people one-on-one. If all the information I provide here is not enough to help you make an informed decision, that's where I can actually ask you questions to find out what's right for you and help you find something on a one-on-one basis. So be sure to do that. And yeah, also watch the announcements in the Discord, because that's where I'll be announcing that stuff. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a wonderful week, a wonderful month, a wonderful year. I just turned 41. I had a birthday last week, so I bought a new car. It was great. Happy birthday, me. All right, guys, thank you so much, and until next time, take care.